Word.
Welcome to the Friday Brew with Calvin Tiger. This week's guest, Mr. Augie Wolf.
Mr. Calvin Tiger.
What's going on, Augie?
Not a whole lot, man. Chilling, hanging out. Glad to be up here for, the day.
We're going to drink some beers.
We're going to.
We're going to drink some whiskey.
Irish, in that fact.
He is very Irish. You brought a bottle of Jameson.
I did.
It's right here. So, the Friday Brew is a place where interesting people come to have interesting conversations over a 6-pack of beer. But that beer, all 6 of them, assorted, different kinds. We don't know what we're going to get. Could be shitty, could be awesome. We're going to figure it out as we go.
See, I chose him. He doesn't know him. I picked the shittiest beer possible for a shit beer. He's laughing about that because he knows that. Yeah.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
And then today we're actually starting a new thing. So I've asked my friends on Facebook. I said, give me some words, some magic words. So if those magic words are mentioned by Augie, by my guest, whoever it is in the future, then we have to take shots. In this case, we're taking shots of Jameson. And those 3, because we're going to do 3 different words. The 3 words are going to be these 3.
I don't know these words.
Yeah, he can't even see them because I just put them on there.
I haven't known them, haven't looked at them. I don't know shit. So
thank you everybody on Facebook for those. But we're going to go ahead and dig in and get started.
All right.
Ace Berry Hard Cider.
Dragon's Milk.
Dragon's
Stout.
Milk. Nice.
I had to go for it.
Bottle opener's over there.
Appreciate that.
For Shoda. California Cider Company. I've definitely never had this before.
Also, I believe this is a New Holland brewing company.
New Holland. Cool.
Nice
and frothy.
Right?
Oh, this is like Angry Orchard, kind of.
Yeah. I don't know. I had the option of blackberry, whatever that is, or pear, and I figured,
Yeah, blackberry. It looks like. Well, there's blackberries on it, so I assume it's blackberry.
Could only assume.
So Augie, what do you do?
So I'm a cook at an Italian restaurant, which I enjoy a lot. I've worked in several restaurants around the Mid-Missouri area, and all of them except for Ruby Tuesdays, which was my most regrettable experience of all time. But they're all locally owned, locally operated, and great places to work. I enjoy cooking, and
I hear that about Ruby Tuesdays often. I've known maybe 10 people in my life. We have one here in Wentzville, and there was one in Jeff City, and I've known maybe 10 people total that have worked at Ruby Tuesdays, and I've never heard anything good about working there. I've never complained. I've only eaten there twice in my life. I've never complained about the food, but I just hear it's not the best place to work.
Well, it's not the food. It's the corporate restaurant thing, which gets me. Because, you have all the ins and outs of it, if you will, but...
Well, there's a lot of rules. I used to work for a Steak and Shake.
My sister's actually manager of a Steak and Shake.
I feel bad. Sorry.
She has moved on and is currently a bartender at Trey Bistro in Columbia. But,
nice. The thing that gets me about working at a corporate place like that is when I worked at Steak and Shake, they were like, yo, dude, you can't have a beard. In fact, you can't have any facial hair. But this only started after I was already working there for about a year.
Right.
So then they're like, well, you got to get rid of your beard. And I was 18. I was like, dude, this is my manhood.
Right.
I'm trying to, this is how I get ladies, is my shitty beard. Well, they made me shave it, but they told me that there was one type of facial hair that a male employee was allowed to have. A mustache.
Really?
Which is the dirtiest and grossest of all facial hairs, in my opinion.
It could be the sickest and just worst of all facial hairs. Okay, I was that kid back when, you entered 3rd grade. You made fun of me for having a beard.
3rd grade, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was the 11-year-old kid with, a couple of strings poking out of his chin. Worst part about that was that my mustache was the thing I neglected the most Just the most.
Yeah.
Because it was the worst.
Well,
And
mustache was the one thing I couldn't grow at the time too.
dude, absolutely, right?
I still can barely, like, you can see, like, you can barely see my mustache.
Well, see, I've got mine, but dude, when I just have a mustache, it just looks dirty. Like, that's just the end of it.
Yeah, okay, so we talked about this in one of the previous podcasts when Derek Red was on the show about mustaches. Mustaches nowadays, it's either hipster or it's creepy, or if you have a badass mustache, then you're a badass. But in most cases, it's creepy and dirty.
Well, and this is the interesting thing, because, like, one of my buddies that, he used to work with Chad, one of our buddies. He posted a picture of me one time with a handlebar mustache on. I'm a huge fan of the handlebar, personally. You know, I was raised around motorcycles. That shit happens. However, women are not necessarily attracted to the handlebar. Therefore, like, I don't understand it, man. I don't.
There's something about maybe it's like when you kiss a woman, she doesn't like the way it feels. I don't know. I've never had really problems with. I mean, I do have a mustache. It's just blonde. I got what's the word? Mutt. I got mutt facial hair, man. Like, my facial hair grows in all different colors.
Word. No, I dig that.
And my mustache is primarily blonde. I've never had anyone complain about it per se, but I guess if it got too big, if it got too bushy, I mean, yeah, it could be detrimental to a kiss, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, no, you definitely are onto something there. But, you know, as far as, like, the whole hipster movement of the mustache, man, I don't get it.
Yeah, that was... It was a strange thing that came about. I think it came about from like, the hipster thing about being retro. And mustaches were the thing in the 70s. Like, Burt Reynolds, man.
Dude, Burt Reynolds.
He had a mean mustache.
Absolutely. I mean, any number of his films. But what I feel like they're neglecting is the 90s mustache, which made it creepy. You know, how do you address that within that subject? Because, you know, all the mustaches per se are all curled at the ends.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's even like to a Doc Holliday kind of thing. But
Yeah. I think that's acceptable. But because I really in most cases when it comes to things such as like fashion, I think things that don't go together, things that would clash together, can sometimes be pulled off. So you see a person that's dressed like a hipster wearing like something along the lines of skinny jeans that are cut off but they're like rolled at the tip, you know, at the edge. And then they got like Toms and probably a shirt like what I'm wearing now, like an old school baseball tee, and then a mustache that's curled. You know, it's kind of like that. It's like that one touch of class, in that sense.
Right. No,
that I think would be the appeal.
I can dig on that. I mean, I try to do the same thing. Like, as far as, you know, all right, I'm a notorious person for slicking my hair back like all the way. It makes me look like a total greaseball. But at the same time, I've started kind of doing it off to the side, you know, just as a suggestion. It's been working out a lot better. But, you know, do I still have all my other attire? Yeah.
I mean, you'd see people that weren't hipster before, but then all of a sudden it's like a thing now. It wasn't like they morphed into it like you're talking about how you slicked your hair back, but now you wear it more like over to the side. Just, you know, it's a variation, but a lot, I think, from the people I knew, it was never a variation. It just became a thing like overnight.
Right. Well, that's one of the interesting things, you know, that hipsterism has been such an interesting thing in our culture, on account of the fact that, you know, I recently came across a person that said me and my grandfather had the same hairdo. That was a very eye-opening experience for me.
Was it true? Is it true?
It totally is. You know, come over to the side at one point, and then, you know, off to the other side. But, granted, the dude didn't have near as much hair as I do, which I'd hope it's not coming to that. But, At the same time, yeah, no, I mean, like, there are certain historical references that are coming back, as far as pop culture and that kind of thing goes.
Yeah.
So, the evolution of the hipster has been an interesting thing, at least for me. But
Watching it from and what even like, I guess when I think of a hipster, I have a cut and dry look in my eyes. But we lived in Colombia, which
they got their own brand of hipster, man.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm curious to what like makes someone a hipster.
All right, and this is an interesting question that's been asked for me to years. What I looked to, essentially, in this was the YouTube Hipster Olympics. Does that provide a cut and dry definition? Maybe, maybe not. But it helped me at least find a grounds for what I considered a hipster.
Tell me more about that, because I'm not familiar with this video.
Okay, in this you have, first of all, the cardinal rule is that every hipster, true hipster, will not ever admit that they are a hipster.
Okay.
And then,
so it's kind of like a denial thing.
Yeah, pretty much. All right.
I'm not a hipster.
I completely acknowledge that I am a hipster to avoid this conundrum. But, anyways, so about this video, it's a couple years old, but one of the best things about this is it goes through all the stages of hipsterism. Not only on a superficial, this is how you look stage, but this is how you act, this is how you make income, this is da 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 da. And
the iPhone, I feel like, is
it's
like it's a telltale. It's like someone that looks like a bum but has an iPhone. It's like the iPhone or the Galaxy were like synonymous with hipsterism.
I may or may not be guilty of this, but
so you get called hipster
on occasion. Yeah, on occasion.
How do you react to it?
Well, being from Colombia, like you said, there's not a whole lot you can actually do about it. And more importantly, as was explained in the video in the Hipster Olympics, was that, you kind of brush this off, which I feel like this is a horrendous thing for normal people, because apparently I have to overreact and, no, I'm not a hipster. But,
wait, what did you say that sentence again?
I have to, react like I'm not a hipster, because I can't,
Hold on. I thought you said it. That's one of the words.
Uh-oh.
Magic words, because.
I like this word.
Alright, we got shots. So,
Slancha.
There we go. To being Irish and on the Friday Brew.
Everybody!
Woo! Goes down smooth.
Yes,
All
it
right.
does.
So each word only gets said one time, Otherwise, we'd probably be taking a lot of shots. May not get to the end of the podcast in that sense.
I'll say that would get messy.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Beautiful. I'm glad I breached one of the words.
Yeah, me too. That tastes. It just once it hits your lips, it's so good.
It's warming. It really is.
That's the thing about whiskey. One of the things I love about whiskey is like you're on a fishing trip. It's 6 a.m. in the morning. You're still drunk from the night before, but for some reason in the middle of July, it's like 30 degrees because you're in a spring. So
yeah.
So and I mean like I'm speaking specifically about being at Bennett Springs, but anytime you're in fresh water like that, and it's so cold, and so you just gotta, pull a shot, and it warms you up. It really does.
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite things about, the holidays, and, necessarily being an Irishman, is you find that, whiskey is a very warming thing. And one of my fondest memories about the holidays, and if you've ever been to Columbia, especially downtown, is that Broadway is the gateway to downtown Columbia.
Yep.
So the whole thing about this, there's 2 feet of snow on the ground, and you and your buddies are getting there, and you're having to cross Broadway snowball fight. Best thing ever. I'm not going to say that any cars were a casualty in this, but
If you're driving in the snow around a place where there's a bar every other store,
exactly. Well, the other thing about this is
you get hit by a snowball. You gotta expect it.
Columbia has adopted a new snow plowing technique, especially for downtown, which this has only happened like the last year. Instead of clearing it all onto the sidewalk and making it the pedestrians' problem, in the middle of every intersection, they have decided to pile up all of their leavings and just make this giant snow mound.
Okay.
Which, I mean, to me in a college town, that's asking for just horrendous problems. But, I don't know. I've grown up in Columbia all my life, and if there's a creative way to ruin something, it's going to happen. Like,
yeah.
For example, in these streets, you have this giant mound of snow. So first of all, you can't see out of your turning lanes at all. It just seems like a bad idea to me. Secondly, you're going to have, like you said, a bar every other corner. Therefore, you're going to have all these drunk college kids get on sleds in the middle of the street and be like, all right, there's this awesome 12-foot drop onto traffic. Add a little bit of boost to it. Can't say it's a great idea. It's not happened yet. Not that I'm aware of.
It's had to have happened. It's had to.
I mean, it seems like one of those things.
Think about the. I don't mean to be politically incorrect. Think about the frat daddies that stay home over break because they're from faraway states, like they're from Minnesota or Washington, or Minnesota's probably not even that bad, really.
Right.
It's directly north, but those states that are further away, they stay home on the break and they go out and they get trashed, and then there's nobody around because it's the holidays.
Oh, that's the worst.
And then there's nobody around, so they feel like this certain sense of freedom, because being in Columbia
absolutely
in the summer and over break, you feel a certain sense of freedom because there's
not ghost town.
Everybody. Yeah, it's a ghost town, and so they're drunk and they got the big. Dude, it's had to have happened.
Dude, absolutely. That's one of those things that it's kind of like riding the tiger or, doing any other
swimming in the
fountain at Brady. Yeah. Dude, absolutely. There's just too many things you can do on that campus that just allow for miscreant behavior.
We're talking about Mizzou's campus, by the way, for all those not familiar with Columbia, Missouri.
I apologize for that. There's plenty of campuses here in St. Louis that are amazing. But being a Columbia born and raised miscreant, if I can use that term properly, but
I'm not familiar with that word, which unfortunately first of all, thank you for showing me that word. I need to figure out what it means. That's what I'm more excited about, but I don't know.
Miscreant?
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Miscreant. So basically I'm just okay. I've often been compared to Leprechaun, being Irish and short and red-haired, but
yeah, you kind of are short. I didn't really realize
that. Yeah, no, not a whole lot of people do, but it's because of my big personality.
Yeah, it's the beard. It's the beard and the hair. It's just so big.
But that's one of the biggest problems about Columbia, and that I've actually realized growing up. From a wee lad until what I am now. But Columbia has a lot of great opportunities. But until you get into college, Columbia's not necessarily fully open to you. And when it does, it's an interesting experience. It really is.
Yeah, it's... So I never went to college in Columbia. So I feel like I missed out on a lot of the culture. So when I lived in Columbia, the first time I lived in Copper Beach. And so what was near me was a place called the Sky Bar and Grill.
Absolutely.
So that was close to me. So
Absolutely.
That was within walking distance. So what people said, what bar do you frequent with the most in Columbia? I said, the Sky Bar and Grill. They said, I've never heard of that. I don't even, because it's over on the backside. It's not downtown. It's over off Old 63.
Right.
And people are like, well, what about campus? You ever go to campus? I've never been to campus. I've lived in Columbia for probably a total of 9 months. I've never been to Campus Bar and Grill because I hear that's something you do as a freshman, and I didn't experience that because I wasn't a freshman.
Well,
By the time I lived in Columbia, I was 21. So,
dude, it's so interesting as far as the bar scene in Columbia, but because there's so much, okay, these are the underage bars you go to. These are what you go to when you want to get away from all that, and these are the bars you go to when you want to get away from all of that.
right.
These are the bars you go to if you're tattooed. These,
Yeah, these are the bars you go to if you're. I mean, one of the first bars I went to was the Blue Fugue. That's a bar you go to if you're
place.
of the alternative not lifestyle, but culture. If you're just not that frat guy with the polo on, you go to we go to the Blue Fugue.
Absolutely.
A lot. It's probably my favorite bar in Columbia.
Well, and it's a great local music scene. That's
Yeah.
one of the other things.
Oh, dude. I've played so many shows there.
Dude, absolutely.
Well, they have the longest running open mic in Columbia.
They do.
Out of any of the bars in Columbia.
And one of the best taps in Columbia.
Oh yeah.
Gonna go
When
ahead
it's
and throw that out there.
when it's tapped, when it's full. The last couple times I've been there, they were slacking.
Dude, yeah, no, it's kind of okay. Not to trash mouth anything, but they've kind of been slacking. But at the same time, as far as Columbia goes, if you're not looking to go to a this brings me into one of my other topics is Columbia's downtown scene, because it's so cliquey, if you will.
The bars really are cliquey.
They are, and Blue Fugue is one of the best places to go because you had which one did you get?
Howling Wolf.
All right. So most of these are picked on name.
Yeah. Ace, Howling Wolf. What was that one called?
This is
Dragon Blood or something?
Dragon's Milk.
Dragon's Milk.
And I actually split a pint of this with my father on Father's Day over a cigar.
Nice.
And it was pretty good. I'm generally a stout drinker.
Yeah, I like stouts.
Do you?
Nothing. I'm not a fan of like extra stout or anything, but I like stouts though.
Fair enough. I get that.
Yeah.
Man.
I definitely like stout better than like
Cider.
cider. Yeah. Hard cider. I like hard ciders, but I'm just more of a stout type of guy.
No, I totally understand that. Trust me, I do. I try to pick like I said, I picked most of these off a name. So
Yeah, fair enough. Let's talk a little bit about the Columbia bars. Let's talk a little bit more about them. So,
all right.
so the bars that I frequent are the Blue Fugue, McNally's, and Roxy's.
All right,
Would you hit the timer on that?
timer done.
Yep. So those are the three bars that I'd say I frequent the most: Blue Fugue, McNally's, and Roxy's.
Well, and see, you're speaking my language because Blue Fugue, one of the best just opening alternative music. If you're local music, Blue Fugue is the place to play. They're open. They don't care. They have an amazing beer and liquor selection. The only thing about this is that, all right, McNally's. McNally's is my bar. I love that place.
$1 on Monday nights they have $1 Killian's
And Coors pints.
and Coors. Yeah, I'm not like Coors. That's cool, but $1 Killian's Red.
Oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
They give you the worst hangovers because they're heavy beers.
Well,
but,
and it's the
so
whole
good.
thing is like, okay, if you're looking for a chill night where you can get, decently drunk and not have to suffer that many consequences. All right, granted, it's aside from the police station, but at the same time, everyone there is cool. Everyone there is cool. And they look out for you. They're amazing.
Yeah.
And, there's one of those local, dives where, dude, if you can get into this place, do it. Because it's amazing.
You never know who you're gonna meet there either.
That's the biggest point, either.
I played the didgeridoo. I learned how to play the didgeridoo from frequenting that bar.
Right?
Because there's a guy there that plays the didgeridoo and taught me how.
I met a guy there that has his own, metal forge. Like, your pounding coal and steel and just like so. Yeah, I'm gonna make a couple knives with him here soon, but there's no quantification of the people that you're gonna meet at this bar. And being Irish myself, I mean, McNally's is the place to hang out in Columbia. Plus, they have amazing food. And they're connected to Wise Guys Pizza.
Yeah, which is, so you go there, and they're like, last call! You're like, hey, go put in an order at Wise Guys.
And they have the biggest pizza in Columbia.
Yeah.
Which
what's it called? Is it the Monster? No, it's
the Untouchable.
The Untouchable. It's like 42 inches or something like that, right?
This thing is bigger than your torso.
Dude, it's like... Which this round?
I mean, like,
and it's like $23, $24 for one of them.
I mean,
feeds like 8 people.
It's amazing, and like, I mean, one of these slices is like that long.
I know. It's like it's at least like a good like 16 inches. You're
the worst part about this pizza is like I've known maybe like 3 people that have eaten one sober.
Yeah, no, well, when you're connected to a bar, that's something you can expect.
The other thing is, like, this place stays open till, like, 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and they deliver.
For Columbia, that's a huge deal.
Oh, yeah, it blows my mind that most places close so early in Columbia.
It's a nightmare, because, okay, I've traveled a lot recently. I went down to Austin for New Year's, which was incredible. If you have never been out of Austin, Texas, go to 6th Street. Yeah, oh, dude.
6th Street in Austin.
You want to talk about a great local music scene, dude. It's incredible.
That's what I hear.
In St. Louis, one of my best friends lives up there. And, I mean, bars don't close till like 3, 4, maybe, in the morning. Yeah. And 1:30.
Yeah, Columbia. Well, St. Louis has the 3 a.m. rule because they're on the river, but really they just make a lot more money that way. But
either way, man, like I mean, I feel like Columbia's just losing out on account of the fact that, man, 1:30, especially for a college town. I mean, like I feel like that's just a loss.
That's Missouri. That's Missouri's rule, though. Yeah, Columbia can't do anything about that. They're far enough away from Mississippi that they can't claim to be on the riverfront. Even St. Louis County really can't claim to be on the riverfront. But
I can get that.
We're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be back in about 5 or 6 seconds, but to us it's like 10 minutes. So we'll be back in just a minute. We're going to talk about tattoos in the workplace and the culture behind that. So
one of my favorite subjects.
Stay tuned.